What are you thinking about, Cecilia?
Do you remember how, according to this ancient map, there used to be a kingdom of copper called Madinat Al-Nuhas before it was cursed and turned into a desert?
Yes. The history of our sister Queen Tadmura, of the human race who died because of her arrogance, rejected the Creator's messenger, right?
In reality, many disliked him because his own people were forced to pay tribute taxes to the nobles at the palace, leaving the populace impoverished. But today's lesson is not about that. Rather, it is about the demonic ego that continues to lead the entire kingdom astray. Long ago, when the jinn served mankind, there was a kingdom made of copper, ruled by a woman of the arrogant Ad people who commanded a mighty army, my sister. Queen Tadmura was granted the ease of obtaining whatever she desired, and we, the jinn, helped her win her wars because we shared a common enemy, the kingdom of demons, my sister. Back then, we even managed to chain the demons that tormented humanity by constructing a massive wall of copper and an entire city of copper, ensuring that the humans and jinn living there possessed abundant energy and remained free from disease. Zara. Millions of humans and jinn live side by side, striving not to be controlled by their egos. Our husband lives there too, keeping them in check and helping Queen Tadmura win many wars against demons across the lands, until eventually, the kingdom and Isabella's village in the north were also affected, my sister. Upon seeing the vast wealth she could possess, the Queen of Tadmura succumbed to greed and desired to conquer the entire planet, believing her victories were solely due to the aid of their 3 gods, until news of this reached the kingdom of Solomon and Isabella. And that was when karma came to collect the price of their greed. My husband had warned them that there had to be a balance between the territories controlled by jinn and those by humans, that excessive greed would bring disaster. But, like humans so often do, the Copper Kingdom ignored that counsel, my sister. For 20 years. Our husband has warned that the greed of the Queen of Tadmura, who seeks to conquer Isabella's kingdom, has crossed all bounds. After all, Isabella is also his wife, one of the 99 wives he took from among both jinn and humans to ensure peace. Queen Tadmura's greed only grew greater when she was forbidden, and our husband eventually warned all the allies to be on guard, for she chose to heed the counsel of their 3 gods through the intermediary of that Copper Palace sorcerer, my sister. The sorcerers in the Kingdom of Copper knew nothing of the world of the jinn. They merely relied on conjectures based on information from demons sent to eavesdrop on the secrets of the heavens. Faced with such betrayal after all the help they had received, our husband journeyed to the Kingdom of Solomon and surrendered the ring, as commanded by the Creator, thereby transferring authority over the jinn and mankind at that time, my sister. Some women in Solomon's kingdom sensed something was amiss because everyone had suddenly stopped moving, and our husbands handed over their rings so that power and justice could return from the South Africa to the Middle East. Our husband returned to the Kingdom of Copper and told us that he no longer had power over jinn and humans, and there would be a messenger from Solomon's kingdom who would come to give a final warning to surrender to one God, namely the Creator, or he would be cursed with destruction. But Queen Tadmura instead ordered her guards to capture and expel the young man bearing the important message from the Kingdom of Copper. Feeling oppressed by the queen, the young man prayed and reported the incident to the kingdom of Solomon. His plea was heard by the kingdom of Isabella. Upon hearing the news that the kingdom of Solomon had ordered an all-out war, commanding Isabella's Jinn kingdom to fight against the kingdom of Copper, we, both Jinn and humans, were dragged into the conflict. Entire armies would suffer the consequences of this great war, all because of one incredibly selfish queen, my sister. A great war erupted in the wasteland, and all the kingdoms of Jinn and men unleashed their weapons and dragons to exact vengeance for the decades-long reign of that Copper Kingdom, which had dominated realms stretching from the southern tip of Africa to the north, my sister. And just as we suspected, Isabella succeeded in abducting our sister to use as leverage, demanding a transfer of power in exchange for our withdrawal from the war, yet we continued to fight against Isabella's kingdom. Meanwhile, our husband watched his wife's war unfold from atop a hill, unable to intervene because his powers were gone, my sister. Isabella laughed to see how fragile the kingdom of Arriendelle was when her sister was taken as a prisoner of war. Then, a devastating war erupted, claiming the lives of countless soldiers and dragons. So many queens and dragons from all sides perished in the sands of the African desert, my sister. Amidst that war, Queen Tadmira fled, believing she could not defeat Isabella's kingdom, and left us all there to die. It was this very act of betrayal that would bring calamity upon the kingdom of Copper. In the end, Isabella's kingdom emerged victorious and set out for the kingdom of Copper to unleash a curse, as commanded by the Creator. Meanwhile, the remaining soldiers of Arriendelle retreated because the selfish queen who had instigated this great war, my sister, had fled. Our husband tried to return to save the Queen of Tadmira, but it was too late. The entire Copper Kingdom had been cursed to die, some while standing, others in their sleep. And every year, my husband visits the lake of that Copper City to remember the Queen, my sister. The news of his sudden death and his corpse remaining frozen for all the citizens of the Copper Kingdom spread to all kingdoms, and they were finally freed from that oppression. But our husband continued to grieve and always made pilgrimages to the Copper City Lake until 3,000 years passed and King Solomon died. Then the ring returned to our husband's hand. And a new army appeared who discovered the kingdom and took all its treasures before a sandstorm covered the entire Copper Kingdom. This is a lesson so that we are not greedy and arrogant towards the Creator, my sister. So, are you ready if humans come to your territory, my sister?